Okay, good morning everyone. Today's our topic is the linguocultural problems of translation. So what we will be talking today in our today's lesson. What is the translation? Firstly, why the translation is important? What does a translator do? The differences between translation and interpretation. What are source and target language? And equivalence in translation meaning. Idioms and other features. So what we see in this picture? Firstly, we will analyze symbols as well, connected with its countries. What do we see in this picture? Here is a bride in the context of Uzbekistan. What does it mean? It's the raising children, household chores, spouses, mothers remain silent in any situation. Spirit of tolerance to difficulties, protest is not tolerated. Housewife, forgiven, teachers, nurses, and etc. Definition of culture. How do we imagine what is the culture itself? Culture includes thoughts, communication, languages, practices, beliefs, values, customs, rituals, manners of interaction, roles, relationships, and expected behaviors of racial, ethnic, religious or social groups, and the ability to transmit the above to succeeding generations. Here, it should be asserted that not all cultures are alien to one another with the same degree. The greater the difference between the SC and the TC, the greater the difficulties in translation. So we move to the next part. Here is some citation of the famous scientist Newmark. Foreign cultural expressions include ecological, material, and social cultures, political, religious, artistic. Okay, let's talk about some problems in translation. What do we face in our everyday life? It is the translation of the idioms, proverbs, and culture-bound words cause many cultural problems in translation. They all share in that they have cultural origins and therefore require a cultural background before translation begins. So we should be acquainted with the culture of appropriate country before translating some realias or lacunas of that language. An idiom, according to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, is a group of words whose meaning is different from the meaning of individual words. For example, the idiom to kick the bucket. What does it mean? Expressed the meaning of death in English, it is composed of words whose literal meaning are completely far away from the meaning of the idiom as a whole. Before the translating idiom, we should find an appropriate equivalence in the different language. This is due to the fact that this idiom, as all idioms in all languages, have a cultural association. As long as no two cultures are the same, cultural problems will always occur when trying to understand and translate idioms. Okay, here is another example. You can read and analyze it as well. So, when a translator is faced with an idiom like to carry coals to Newcastle, he or she may find a great difficulty in guessing its meaning. Only the cultural background can solve this problem. Newcastle is a city located on the north bank of the River Tyne in the northeast England. It has been a large port and center for the coal export. This gave the rise to idiom to carry coals to the Newcastle, meaning to do something unnecessary. Of course, it's useless to take coals to a city full of coals. So the idiom concerned means to do something worthless. Okay, this idiom expresses the meaning of doing something completely unimportant. The cultural background is the only way out to translating idioms in an equivalent way and not to translate literally, since literal translation of idioms could lead to complete misunderstandings. That's the reason for searching for some equivalences in the target languages. In case a translator is unaware of the cultural background, he or she consult some specialized dictionaries or encyclopedias. So let's try to translate the next proverb. It is a short sentence. Well, what is the proverb firstly? Let's discuss about the meaning of the proverb. Proverb is a short sentence, usually known by many people stating something commonly experienced, giving advice. So it's formed through the observation and experience. If it endures the test of time, it becomes familiar to everybody and usually memorized. Then it is passed from a generation to another. By its nature, the proverb is a culture bond, that is, it comes into being in a special culture that is very often different from any other one. Okay, according to English culture, a cat has 9 lives, expressing the fact that cats live for a long time in spite of the dangers they encounter. In ancient Arabic culture, in the pre-Islamic period, and afterwards, people thought that the serpent lived for a long time. So, in case it's impossible to find an equivalent to a target language proverb, the translator can translate the proverb literally and then explicate its meaning in a footnote, especially if he or she wishes to make his or hers receptors get familiar with the way of thinking of the source language speakers. Okay, let's look for this example and analyze it. For instance, if it is supposed that there is no equivalent Arabic proverb for the English proverb, even Homer sometimes notes. As the cultural gaps in translation, the cultural gap occurs when the source text contains an element that's culturally unfamiliar or extremely opposed to the target language. For example, it is translation from the English into Arabic. We find the word owl. While we can all recognize what kind of bird it is, it doesn't symbolize the same in both languages. In English, the owl symbolizes wisdom. On the contrary, in the Arabic, it means some negative connotation as represents pessimism. In such a case, the translator should transcend the literal and find a way to express the symbolism in the text beyond the word. Another difficult case would be translating the expression as white as snow to a culture where it never snows. It may be the same Arabic countries or maybe India. So rather we should find some other equivalent to forward the same message as white as cotton. So, okay guys, here is some idioms which should be analyzed as well. So, let's work on the idioms and analyze them. Exercise number 1, idiom, a common expression understood. And here we should find some literal definition for each. Here is a test which we should complete. Then next, read each idiom and determine the meaning. So here we should read, analyze each idiom and try to find some equivalence. Okay. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you next time. Bye.